Gentlelady yields back. Does Mr. Ivey have
We're out on this side, but I would offer
unanimous consent?
unanimous consent for two letters that may address Ms. Hageman's line of questioning. One is dated April 22nd, 2024 from the Department of Treasury, and it's addressed to you, Mr. Chairman. It's from Corey Tellez, who is the acting secretary, and the other is, she may have referenced, I'm not sure, from the Department of Justice to you, Mr. Chairman. It's from Mr. Uriarte. It's dated May 31st, 2024.
And I would ask for unanimous consent for an article, Cartels Infiltrating Native Reservations with Fentanyl, according to a tribal leader.
Thank you. Without objection. Gentlelady yields back. Gentlelady from Florida is recognized.
Good afternoon, Mr. Attorney General. This committee is well aware of your long tenure as an appellate judge on the D.C. Circuit and your time as an AUSA before that. And I am sure that you, like me, care deeply about the public confidence in our court system and specifically our judiciary. And you said something a few moments ago that I think is a very important principle. You said that judges put aside their personal views and their political views when they preside. And I agree that that is the expectation. Not that judges don't have personal or political views, but that judges set those beliefs aside when they consider and rule upon cases, and that they do so in a way that is impartial and consistent with the law. And so I'd like to discuss the recent increase in aspersions being cast at some of our Supreme Court justices, some of which we've heard repeated during this hearing. Public calls for recusal of justices based on conjecture and conspiracy about their political beliefs, and in fact, not even the supposed political beliefs of the justices themselves, but even more attenuated to the supposed political and personal beliefs of their wives. In your view, Mr. Attorney General, is it appropriate to attack the impartiality and integrity of the Supreme Court justices in this way?
So I'm going to have to say again what I said before, which is we have cases before the Supreme Court, so I'm not going to be able to comment on this. You haven't heard any aspersions cast by me, and you won't hear any, but all of our filings will be done in court, and I'll only speak about these matters in court.
So then let's discuss this not as it relates to the specific justices who have had their integrity attacked today, but more generally in the case of judges who are presiding. Now, in general, in your experience on the bench, did judges in the D.C. Circuit recuse themselves if they believed they had a conflict of interest?
Yes.
And in your experience, did they typically adhere to a very high standard of personal integrity?
Yes.
And do you have any reason to believe or any personal belief that the justices of the Supreme Court currently have any issues that would necessitate their recusal?
So you've now skipped over to the question, which I said I wouldn't be able to answer. I can't comment about the Supreme Court. We have cases in the Supreme Court right now, and all the time.
So let's talk about the matter of judicial security. So not long ago, we had Director Wray of the FBI appear before this committee, and I questioned him about the lack of FBI resources and focus being allocated to threats against the safety of judges and specifically Supreme Court justices in light of some of the alarming news in recent times. And one of the things that he pointed out, in fairness, was that the U.S. Marshals take a large role when it comes to the security of judges. But in your role, you have the unique opportunity to actually oversee both branches there. So I'd like to know more about what the department is doing related to threats against judges.
Okay, fair enough. So this is one I can talk about. With respect to the justices themselves, for the first time in history, an attorney general, namely myself, ordered that every justice get 24/7 protection for himself or herself and their families at their residence and on their travel. So I've assigned over 70 U.S. Marshals who are doing this daily, but because of rotations, it's involved almost 1,700 marshals across the country to provide immediate protection. Now, the FBI, both the marshals and the FBI investigate threats against the justice. This is in our highest priority band protection against the judges, protection against threats against justices and judges. And I'll be happy to provide you with the press releases of our charges. There have been threats against several of the justices, and we have brought cases against those who have threatened them. We have a lot of judges in the country, and we don't have enough marshals. So I'm sorry to say the same thing I said before, which is we need more money for the marshals for protection, because not only do they protect the justices, they have to protect the judges in courthouses in 94 districts in the United States.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield the balance of my time.
Gentlelady yields back.